I have my two pieces cut here. I cut the little overlay about a half an inch shorter so that it will not completely cover the other underskirt. Now we're going to test this. So we got a little seam here and we got a little bit of a hem there. And so when she sits up here, it'll sit like this, as you can see. Now, I need to finish these off. And on this one, I'm going to serge the bottom. And then I'm going to roll it up just like I did the other one, just like I did the sleeves. And on this one, I'm going to do the same. I'll finish that and be right back. I have my two skirt pieces finished off. I've hemmed the bottom on both of them. I also hemmed the back part. This is going to be in the back. And since I'm closing this little dress up with some snaps, I am not going to put a seam in the back. It'll just be open. Anyway, so what we need to do next is gather. And since the top part is going to be the little organza, we need to do it first. Now, if you've never gathered on a machine, you need to reset it to a long stitch, and you need to pull a little extra fabric out. And in this case, my machine cuts its thread, so I need to start with another piece of thread. So I've got a bobbin tail, and I'm going to pick that up, and then I'm going to pull my bobbin tail out. Now, all I do is just come along it, okay, give myself about the amount of seam I want in this. When I sew it on, I may or may not pull that bobbin thread out. This is a doll toy, okay, and I just simply stitch it. If it wants to pucker on you, let it pucker, because we're going to gather it anyway. Now, while I'm doing this one, I should probably do the bottom skirt too. So I'm going to pick my needle up, going to pull a nice long string out, and do the same to my bottom one. And if it wants to pucker, let it. Needle up, pull out a good long string, and clip it. Now, I want to clip these two because I just want to work with the upper part. I'm going to set the bear off to the side and find my bodice here. Okay, basically I want to put the two pieces together, and it's a little tedious to do this. Most of the time I basically find the middle. Now make sure that when it lays down, it's going to lay down where you want it. This is the outside. That's, nope, got them backwards. This is the outside, and I want it to lay right sides together, and I'm just going to start pinning. I'm going to pin the middle, and then I'm going to pin the sides. Now, when I'm pinning this, I'm going to pin it a little shy, because when I finish this skirt off, the last thing I do is going to be that. So, but this is the upper skirt, so I'm going to leave it plain. Okay, now I'm going to find my bobbin thread. I think I can find my bobbin thread here. One of them will pull easy and the other one won't. Don't get them mixed up. And I'm just going to pull it and ease that in. And sometimes it gets a little tight. I got a lot of easing to do because I've got to ease it that much. You can put the two pieces together and try to do this, but your finished product will not look as good. A little bit more. Anyway, you can watch me do this for a little while, and just a wee bit more. If you get too much, that's okay. And I like to put my thread that I pulled there on the edge, and now I'm going to even this out so that when I pull it, it looks just right. And that's a lot of gathering to put in there. Anyway, so every little bit, make sure you get the ruffles all pointing out. You don't want to catch those little bits of fabric funny. And take a lot of pins. It takes a lot of pins to do this right. About every ½ an inch or so. And lay it down. Work it some more. And I'll just keep it this and do the other side. And I will be back. I have finished pinning it. And I've got it fairly even across here. So now it's just a matter of stitching it down. And stitch it down very carefully, making sure you don't catch any of those little ruffles in your seam. I'll do that. Oh, don't forget to reset your machine back to a regular size stitch. You don't want a long stitch here. And when you come to them, make sure you put your the seams, okay, in one direction or the other. Watch those carefully. Ooh. I hit a needle. Shame on me. Probably put a burr on my machine, my needle here. All right, we've got that stitched on. Let's see how this is going to look. We're going to check our work and make sure that nothing looks too funky here. All right, let's try it on. We probably could quit with just this, but I think I want to put another piece on. There's her little skirt. And when she gets all fastened up here and we embellish this a little bit, she'll look adorable. Let's put the other piece on. All right, same thing. We're going to find the middle here again. Oh, we want to, if you want to take the time to see if you can pull that thread out that helped you gather, it's probably a good idea because it might pucker on you later. Oops, we broke it. Let's try the other side here. Cut some of our other threads off here. And that one's out. Let's see if we can pull this one out. Sometimes you catch it with your machine and it'll break on you, but that's okay. Just get it out if you can. And I'm going to trim some of these odd pieces of thread off so they will no longer confuse me. And let's get that last one out. There we go. And trim my threads here. All right, I'm going to find the middle again. Here's the middle. We're going to find the middle of this piece, more or less, because it's all puckered up. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, make sure you get it on there right. It goes like this. This is the outside. This will be the inside. we're going to put the two pieces together. Now, when you put these together, you're going to have to make sure that your inner part is also down nicely so that when you stitch them, you don't pick it up funny. And that's the only trouble with this one. Got so much thread here. Okay, on this one, on the last one, when we come here, we're going to turn that over. That will give us a nice place to put our snap. Okay, and it will also finish off the bodice there. But before we do that, we're going to have to gather this, aren't we? Okay, let's find our threads here. Find our bobbin thread. Okay, this is the bobbin thread. I don't know why it's always the bobbin thread you want to catch. And then it just goes nicely. Okay, let's gather this first and pin it, and then we'll lay that other piece over. Okay, have we got it gathered enough here? Almost. Get the right one. Okay. All right, we're just going to ease it in. Being very careful to not mess that other piece that we just put on there up. Making sure it's going to all lie down neatly. Now, when we're finished, we're going to serge this whole business. So we're not going to worry about things raveling a little bit. This is a cold, wet, wintry day, and there's nothing better than to be sitting in your sewing area and sewing. This morning when I woke up, it was freezing rain. Nasty stuff, and it was like, oh, I hope this doesn't keep going. But it's just rain now. The freezing quit. And let's pull that a little tighter there. And pin that. Okay. Last side here. Find our bobbin. Pull it a little bit. Okay. All right, is that going to be enough? No, not quite enough. That's more like it. Let's bind that off here on our pin. Okay. Making sure that we don't catch that first piece funny and pucker it. Okay. Let's check and make sure we didn't catch anything funky underneath. I don't see anything. Okay, we're going to stitch this, and I'll be right back. Oh, before we forget, we need to turn this over, those two pieces here. Get that out of the way enough to turn it over neatly, like that. And we need to do that at the other end, and I'll get that when I get to it. All right, we're all stitched. Let's see how we did. We're going to check ourselves, and then if we like it, we're going to serge this edge here. Okay, let's try it on the panda. Get rid of the pin cushion. Looks okay. Looks fine, looks fine. So, here we go. Now, all we have left to do is to finish this seam so it doesn't ravel, because this stuff will ravel something terribly. We'll just do that on our serger. And then I'm going to pick out some possible embellishments, including probably a ribbon. Oops, I missed a pin. A ribbon to go around the middle here. I think I have some pretty ribbons that will work fine here. I'll be right back.